So, good day, ma'am. I am Dinre E. Tampos. Uh, Today, I will discuss the four principles of modifiers of human act. So, the first principle, governing of ignorance. The veil of ignorance, a component of social contract theory, allows us to test ideas for fairness. Behind the veil of ignorance, no one knows who they are. They lack clause as to their class, their privilege, their disadvantage, or even their personality. What is the veil of ignorance? So the veil of ignorance is a moral reasoning device designed to promote impartial decision making. By delaying decision makers access to potentially biasing information about who will benefit most or least from the available options. The veil of ignorance, social justice, egalitarianism. Justice is blind. Looking at the situation regardless of social or economic status. Put yourself in their shoes. Fairness is considered a principle of justice. Egalitarianism is paramount. For example, should you report on a politician who is rumored to be having an affair? Principle of passions. Antecedent passions do not always destroy voluntariness, but they diminish accountability for the resultant act. They weaken the willpower without obstructing freedom completely. Therefore, crimes of passion are always voluntary, although accountability is diminished because it interferes with the freedom of the will. The second is consequent passions. Do not listen voluntariness, but may even increase responsibility. Consequent passions are the direct result of the will, which fully consent to them instead of subordinating them to its control. Principle of passions. Antecedent passion may completely destroy freedom and consequently moral responsibility. For example, a wife who out of love for her husband becomes so jealous that in a moment of savage rage kills him and the concubine. Antecedent passion lessens freedom and diminish the responsibility of human actions because they tend blind the judgment of the intellect and block the freedom of the will. Example, the man who drinks immoderately shows in his actions more voluntariness, but less freedom than a man who drinks occasionally only. So the third one is principle of fear. So acts done with fear are voluntary. Acting in spite of his fear and it's in full control of himself. Acts done out of fear are simply voluntary, although conditionally involuntary. Simply voluntary. Person remains in control of his faculties, conditionally involuntary. If it were not for the presence of something feared, the person would not act or would act in another way. Intimidating or there are esteeming as person with horror is an unjust act. Legally speaking, act done out of fear invalid acts. Example, contract made out of fear. Barely the ball later be announced. Acts done because of intense fear of panic are involuntary. Panic obscures the mind. In this mental state, the person is not expected to think sensibility. Sensibility. The last one is principle governing habits. Govy refers to the character ethic, meaning to align one's values with universal and timeless. Principles such as fairness, integrity, honesty, and truthfulness, and treating people with respect. His principles are deep fundamental thoughts truths that have universal applications. Principle of habits. Action done by force of habit are voluntary in cause unless a reasonable effort is made to counteract the habitual inclination. Bad habits. Voluntary in cause because they are result of previously well acts done repeatedly. As long as the habits are not corrected, evil acts done by force of habits are voluntary and accountable. Can be not accountable. If a person decides to fight his habit, for as long as the effort toward this purpose continues, actions resulting from such habit may be regarded as acts of man because the cause of such habit is no longer expressly desire. So that's all the four principle of modifiers of human acts. And thank you.